not like at only particular point only you can measure temperature, velocity, or pressure. N number of data point you can generate, right? So in all three methods there are some advantage, there are some disadvantage, but numerical method is something which is very uh, like we can say cheaper, and it is less it takes less time compared to your experimental method, right? So this slide was regarding solution method only. Now I'm moving to the next slide, which is how we are introducing CAE into the engineering problems. So we will take example of this water pump. Now let's say you are a designer and you wanted to make a water pump. You know only the pressure. Like I wanted to design a water pump which is having certain pressure. Now you have to identify what should be the diameter of this propeller, how many number of propellers should be there, what should be the section diameter, what should be the discharge diameter, etc., etc. Moreover, what should be the RPM. So these all are the variable. These now you have to work upon these variables so that you will identify, okay, this is what the pressure I was looking for, and I will, if I make so and so arrangement, so I will get this much pressure. Earlier, what the old approach, basically earlier what used to happen, we have a concept, we will make a design by some calculation, and then we will go with the physical prototype. And after physical prototype, we will check with the testing whether we are achieving the result or not. If we are achieving the result, it is well good, we will move ahead for production. If it is not, then what we do, we will go back to the design change. Again we will do physical prototype testing, and everything is good, then okay, otherwise again we will go back to the design point. So this cycle keep on repeating until unless we get the desired results. uh, so ultimately, if you see, it is very costly and time consuming. And then we will come to the smart approach. What happens here is, we have a concept, you make a design, and then you take this design to CA analysis. With the help of CA analysis, you will come to know how much result I am getting for my particular design. And then if you think I need to make some changes, then in the CAD itself you can make changes, and that changes the impact of those changes can be seen in CA analysis. So no need to create a physical model for every design, right? The CA analysis, what it will do, it will give you one final design which is having results close to your actual requirement, and then that design will move for the physical prototype, and finally move on to the testing and production. At testing, definitely we have to identify whether we are meeting with those requirement or not. If not, then again we have to go back the design, and then we will again follow the same procedure. So if you see, like if you compare the old approach and the smart approach, there is a drastic improvement. When I say improvement, means improvement in terms of money, improvement in terms of time. Yeah. Now coming to the CFD, because this session is on CFD, so we will talk about CFD. What is CFD? CFD is nothing but the science which predicts transport phenomena. When I say transport phenomena, it include fluid flow, it include heat transfer, it include, let's say there is some chemical reaction or some other related phenomena. And how these phenomena get predicted? It is simply because the CFD solves conservation equations like mass, momentum, and energy. And as I shown you earlier, with the help of CFD, what we can do, we can create a new design based on our concept. Then we can optimize the design. Let's say in the earlier problem, if the number of blades are initially it was four, but with the help of CFD, we can identify like whether these should be number of four, or it should be more than four, or less than four, right? So such kind of optimization we can do, then troubleshooting, and finally redesign. So these kind of uh, like things we can do with the help of CFD. And at last, I would say with the help of CFD, definitely we can gain so many things. But CFD alone cannot stand. Uh, that means like it is not like we are having some kind of design and you do CFD and you have got some result. That results are the best one. We can't say the results are best until unless we validate it with the experiment one. So at least we should verify or we should validate our result, CFD result with at least one or two experiment, so that we can become confident enough that the CFD simulation that you are doing, it is correct one. See, basically, CFD is what I mean. CFD solver is what it is, something like a tool. For example, your MS Word. If you type A, it will give you A. If it will give you A. If you type B, it will give you B. It is not like if you type A and you are getting P. If you are getting P, it means the solver is not good. So in the same sense, if your results are not good, it is all up to your inputs. If your inputs are good, definitely you will get the good results. If your inputs are or some values are missing, then definitely that impact we will see in the results. And this is how, like, let's say we have a on the right side picture, you can see there is a computational domain that is discretized into finite element, which are known as control volume. So the governing equations like mass, momentum, energy, these equations are solved over this control volume. And finally, the governing equation, they are basically in the form of differential equation. They get discretized into algebraic equations, and then the sets of algebraic equations is solved numerically to get the solution field. Uh, Now coming to the CFD simulation process. So on the left hand side picture, you can see there is a T pipe. Uh, Now our intention is to check what is the flow behavior inside this T pipe. Let's say one end is having hot temperature inlet, second one is having cold temperature inlet, and third one is the outlet through which we are getting mixed flow. Let's say this one is inlet, this one is inlet, and this one is outlet. So our intention is what is to check what is the flow behavior within this pipe. And when I say flow behavior within this pipe, it means we are focusing on water. So what we will do, we will create computation domain for water. So this one is nothing but the computation domain of water. And then the next step is to discretize this computational domain. So the right side picture, this one is the discretized domain of water. And then we will go back to the uh, sorry we will go to the boundary conditions, like what is the material, what is the boundary condition, like how much temperature is there, how much pressure is there, right? And so up to here, this the process is known as pre-processing stage, where we create model, we create a discretized domain, and when then we define appropriate model, we define material properties, we define boundary conditions. And then finally we will move on to the solver part. The solver part includes various solvers, like pressure based solver or density based solvers. Then we have several schemes or discretization schemes for pressure, momentum, and so with the help of solver, we basically solve the algebraic equations, and then finally we will move on to the post processing. So under post processing, we can identify two types of result. One is qualitative results, second one is quantitative results. So the picture you see is nothing but the qualitative results. For example, you can see this one is the left. This one is the pressure. I think it's a temperature contour. Maybe I need to. It's not written over here, but it's some sort of contour. Then the second one is velocity vector, and the third one is streamline pattern. So we will go with a hands-on for the same problem. So we will come to know like how and then second one is quantitative results. That means like what is the temperature at outlet and what is the temperature at, let's say, at this particular point, right? So those kind of solutions come under quantitative results. And then coming to the ANSYS CFD tools, like I showed you earlier, we are having certain stages like pre-processing, then solver, and then post-processing. So each stage have some sort of tool, dedicated tool. So for geometry cleanup or geometry creation, we have a tool called Design Modeler. I mean, not I should say we, actually ANSYS has a tool called Design Modeler. And Design Modeler is quite old one. At present, they have a very good tool known as Space Claim. So we can do cleanup part in Space Claim as well. Then coming to the meshing part, so that meshing part can be done in ANSYS meshing as well as Fluent meshing. Fluent meshing is a highly robust meshing tool, Today we will do the hands-on on ANSYS meshing only. Then the solver, which is Fluent itself, and the post processing we can do in Fluent as well as in CFD Post. So CFD Post is a dedicated post processing tool from ANSYS. Coming to the case studies, so here I will show you few examples which I have done over here. They are the very simple, and I think everyone can understand them very easily. So first one is a airflow analysis of air conditioner. So the you if you see this picture, this is a cross section view of air conditioner. If you cut the cross air conditioner from the center and you see the side view, you will find this kind of geometry. So this is nothing but the heat exchanger, and then we have blower, which is over here, and then these are levers. Basically, they guide the airflow, like whether it should go up or down. So this is a side view of air conditioner. Now the problem here is the heat exchanger tube diameter is 7 mm, and I wanted to know what happens if I reduce heat exchanger diameter from 7 mm to 5 mm, right? So the objective of the problem is to perform 2D transient simulation. I'm performing transient simulation, and 2D, because 2D simulation is feasible, 3D simulation becomes very difficult because the problem itself is transient in nature, and uh, and the output we are calculating in terms of airflow rate, in terms of shaft power, right? And the boundary condition, if you see, then we should know what is the fan RPM, and we should know what is the porous resistance value of this heat exchanger. I think you would have seen this heat exchanger. It consists of fins and tubes, and simulating fins and tubes becomes very difficult if you want to simulate individual fin and tube. So what we do, we define this heat exchanger as porous media, and then we define a resistance value of this porous media. So this is nothing but your boundary condition and cell zone condition. Now coming to the next slide, which is regarding results of the problem. So if you see, for fan rotational speed of 1350 RPM, the airflow rate increased by 4% when we switch from 7 mm tube dia to 5 mm tube dia. But at the same time, if you see shaft power, it is increasing by 6%. So if you see in terms of airflow rate, yes, there is a increment, but some way or somehow we have to compromise with shaft power as well. And then here is the velocity contour of both the cases. If you see the flow pattern over here, this flow pattern is somewhat wavy in nature. If you see, so this wavy nature flow pattern is happening because of the transient nature of this blower. That is what I have simulated this problem in transient way. If you simulate this problem in steady state manner, then you will find very straight line kind of flow happening over here, right? And also, if you see, when the diameter is 7 mm, the opening for air to move is less, and when there is a diameter is 5 mm, the opening is more. So if you see within heat exchanger, the blueness of the color, which denotes velocity, lowest velocity value, it is more over here, and here it is little high, and that is actually obvious because of the openings. So this is one case. So Mr. Dwes, am I audible to you? Is there any kind of disturbance or something? Hello.
Sir, you are audible.
Okay, fine. Because I am continuously speaking, I don't know whether I'm reaching to you or not. So in between, if there is any kind of miscommunication, please let me know. Huh?
Right, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Then coming to the second problem, this is problem pertaining to air cooler. What we are doing here is we are identifying the shroud design and fan position. So the right side assembly, if you see, there is a fan, and there is a shroud. This white color portion is shroud one. This is how the side view look like, and this is how the ISO view look like. So what we wanted to know, like, what should be the shroud design, and what should be the fan position for optimum airflow. So the case one where this is the case where we are moving fan forward. So this is the base position of fan. In the case 1.1, what we are doing, we are moving this fan 10 mm forward. In the second one, we are moving it 20 mm and then 30 mm. And then we have calculated airflow rate and shaft power. So if you see airflow rate in all three cases, it is lower than the base case. So none of the cases having good, we can say, design for fan position. So here is the good one. Although there is a slight decrement in shaft power, but I think it is negligible, because if you see it is 102.6 and here it is 102 or 102.4. The second one is shroud. If you see, it was some kind of what we have done. We have extruded this shroud by 45 mm. This is case one, and then it is similarly 65 and 75, case 2, case 3, and case 4, like something like that. So again, after simulating this case in CFD length, the case 2, it is having airflow rate 4% airflow rate, 13% higher than the. At the same time, if you see the